Hello everyone, this is Dr. Monisha Madan Mohan, a cardiac surgeon in Bangalore, and today's episode is a special one because I have my brother here with me, and this makes this video a very special one. Kindly watch till the end and you'll know all the tips about how to get selected, what is about the job search, and even both in the medical field and the engineering field.
Hey everyone, I am Manoj here, joining you on this video. I am a software engineer who works for Uber with about 10 years of experience in the software engineering field, working across a bunch of different startups and also large companies like Uber. And unfortunately, I'm also the brother of Dr. Monisha. I'm joining you guys on this video here today to give you some tips, advice around interviews, how to get interviews, how to clear interviews, and how to negotiate a good offer.
So the biggest life update as of now is I have 2 job offers from one of the biggest hospitals in the country. That's why I'm here telling you all about the job search after residency, how to get into interviews. And since my brother here is with me, all you engineers out there are going to benefit from this video. So watch till the end. So the thing that works with medical field is just like we call up 100 different people. Suppose I want to do pediatric surgery. So I'll call up all the pediatric surgeons in the country to ask them for a job. And if they see if they have a vacancy, or rather yet our professors during our residency just can put in a word to the people whom they know, saying that, hey, we have a student interested in pediatric cardiac surgery and do you have a vacancy, please take her in or take him in or whatever like that. And if they don't do that, then you have to search on your own. And if you call up one person, he'll connect you to 4 other. If he doesn't have a vacancy or she doesn't have a vacancy, they'll connect you with different people. You have to call up 4 different people and then they'll connect you with different people, and that's how the network goes on. So you can do that. Secondly, there is a job portal on WhatsApp called as a cardiac surgeons job portal, which is by invite only. So you can join them, and then they keep on posting new jobs there, and you can approach people, drop in your CVs. Basically, that's how it works in the medical field. What about you? Do you think it's the same for you guys as well?
I think it's something similar. So getting an interview has like in a lot of cases, it's just through referral. You need to reach out to someone who's working in that company, and like if you are in touch with them, if you worked them in the past, you can ask them to give you a referral, and once they give you a referral, you'll be able to get an interview at that company. In a lot of other cases, so for me personally, I never had any referral for any of the jobs that I applied to or got through. For me, it's always been reaching out directly to the HR. So in fact, I did not reach out myself, but there are a lot of platforms where you can upload your resume, upload your work, and if the recruiters like you, they will themselves give you a call back if there are openings, and you can directly apply to job openings as well. One thing which I have observed though is that there is a lot of bias in this entire process, where people who have fancy degrees from fancy colleges or who have had work experience at leading brand name companies, those people are the ones that get preferred for interview. So let's say if someone has passed out from IIT, they have like something like IIT on their resume, or let's say if someone has worked at a company like Google, if they have that on their resume, these kind of people get interviews a lot faster than let's say someone who doesn't have IIT on their resume, or someone who doesn't have Google or something on their resume. That's just how it is. So what I would recommend is whenever you kind of apply for a job, try to look at a job try to look at the company which has good brand name. If you are able to get in, then do join there and work there for a year. Having a nice brand name on your resume will help you in the long run, for sure, and it will help you get a lot more job offers or interview offers in the future. So yeah.
Do you think the job, like having a brand name on your resume is more important, or the kind of work they are doing is more important? What would you choose? Like a brand name like Google or Uber or Apple, or rather than some place like a startup which does not have a brand name yet, but they are doing some interesting work, like initial phase as a fresher?
That's a good question. Bit of a tough question, but at least for people who have lesser experience in the industry, people who are like relatively new out of college, I would definitely suggest them to lean more towards having a good brand name on their resume. The reason is that in the long run in your career, you can always go from having worked at a Google or a Microsoft, and then you can later on in your career, you can go to a startup, work there for a few years, etc. But that tag always remains on your resume. But let's say if you have always worked at smaller startups, there will always be a question mark on your resume. in the long run. So personally, if you're younger in your career, I would definitely always suggest or prefer you to try for like bigger brand names. Once you have that on your resume, in the long run, obviously it's a very personal choice what kind of organization or what kind of place you want to work for. Some people might find startups to be more fun, and definitely you can work there in that case. Some people might want larger companies, and yeah, for those people, larger companies make sense, definitely. But for younger people, I would definitely recommend trying to get like a big brand name or some kind of credible names on your resume, so that you have that on your resume, and so that in the future, if you ever want to apply for different jobs, etc., it becomes a lot easier for you. Like just having a brand name like a Google or a Microsoft opens a lot of doors whenever you want to apply for jobs. Recruiters would kind of reach out to you. You'll be able to get interviews at pretty much any company out there if you have like these big brand names on your resume.
Yeah, I think I feel the same. Like the job offers I have got are big brands in the country in the form of a hospital chain. I think if I work there for around 6 months to a year, it will help me get then my next job, which may or may not be a big brand, but at least like in terms monetary terms, in experience terms, I think that would be better. So that's also an option. You don't need to always go out and reach to smaller hospitals depending upon the kind of work they are doing. You can also reach out to big brands and see if they have a vacancy. And as he said, it's the same in the medical field as well. If you have a big brand name under your, like a big tag under your name that you have worked at this hospital, even if it's for 3 months, 6 months, or as long as a year, it will help you ahead in your career.
The market is really bad right now. The market has not been good for the last year or two. I think many of you who've been kind of searching for jobs might know this. So over the last year or two, it's been really difficult to kind of find or to get interviews. Like you can approach to hundreds of different companies, but there are very few openings, and it's very hard to kind of get interviews. There's a lot of competition for very few openings. So in that case, if you don't have any kind of brand name on your resume or any kind of thing that kind of strikes out on your resume, it will be very hard for you to get an interview. So that is the reason why if you're able to get like some kind of a brand name, then it kind of opens a lot of doors for you. It kind of opens up a lot of interviews for you. And from there, you can kind of pick and choose and decide where you want to work in the future.
Hmm. So, guys, keep putting your resume on different platforms such as LinkedIn, Naukri.com, Monster.com, whatever job portals are out there, and keep a job search. Don't just pick up the first job you get, because there is a lot of offer negotiations and all that we'll be discussing later. How to pick up the right job for you, and what priorities do you set for yourself before taking up a job. So the basic idea is, if you get a job somewhere and if you're unemployed or trying to switch a job from one to another, then at least start somewhere. Don't just keep on rejecting jobs because you are wanting to get that job, because you never know, your dream job may end up making you unhappy. So at least start somewhere. If you're getting a good offer, if you're getting a good hospital or a good company, just start, see for 3 to 6 months if you're getting adjusted, if there is some growth happening in your career, and then you can think of a switch, rather than just wasting those 3 to 6 months trying to find a job. So let's say now that you have connected to some person, some company, some hospital, and now they have called you for an interview. So what do you think? If you have reached till the interview stage, what tips would you like to give to the people to the like during the interview?
I think so I take interviews for Uber. I've taken I think over 100 or 200 interviews for Uber so far. Uh, the biggest thing that any interviewer usually looks for is, it's very simple, right? The question basically they ask is, can I work with this person on a day-to-day basis? That is what people look at. So I think technical skills is one aspect. Definitely, you need to have good technical skills, technical knowledge, etc. But beyond that as well, try to be friendly and try to have a good conversation, a good rapport with the interview. Try to make the interviewer feel as if, hey, this is, I want to work with this person. I want to kind of work on a day-to-day basis with this person. This is a nice person. This seems like a good person. I will have fun working with this person. So try to kind of portray or project yourself in that manner. That is like the only tip that I would probably give. What about you?
Hmm. I think medical interviews, I think they look for the same, because they have to work with you at least for 6 months to a year. That's what they have in mind. So medical interviews are basically the job they offer will be on a contract basis. And this is the basic everywhere in this country. I'm talking about the Indian scenario. probably be, looking for whether this is a nice person to work with. They look for integrity, they look for compassion to the patients. By the conversations you have with them, they'll figure out what kind of person you are, rather than your grades or marks and all this like secondary. That is only for the paperwork part. So when I interviewed at a couple of places. So they usually have two rounds. One is the HR round, where someone from the HR will interview, and second is the surgeon who will interview, under whom you'll be working directly as a fresher. So the HR round, usually the common questions they ask is, why did you take up cardiac surgery? Secondly, why do you want to work at this institute? And basically, why do you want to do pediatric surgery, or why do you want to do minimal invasive or robotic or whatever job you're interviewing for? So that is basically what they ask. Secondly, HR wants to know if you're interviewing in a different city, if it's an online interview or a one-to-one in a different city from where you live. So they basically want to know whether you'll be able to conveniently move to the another city and settle down there. So you have to be very confident that you want to move to the another city. You can manage your finances there well, and you will be comfortable living in a different environment altogether. So that the work-life balance, they don't want any issues, your personal issues, to affect your work basically. So that's what they are trying to look for. Secondly, I think the surgeons usually want to know the same thing, whether you will be a good colleague to them. Whatever they are appointing you for, you will get that work done properly. While you're at the interview, if you have some doubts with the HR regarding salary or regarding the city or the hospital, you are free to talk to them. And secondly, if you're talking to the surgeon, you can ask your own personal questions. Like basically, for a fresher, they want to know, majority of us want to know whether you are paying us well, and secondly, are you going to give us work, like give us good hands on, so that we have practiced enough to go practice as an independent surgeon a few years down the line. So you can be very polite while asking that. I would suggest, don't do salary matters with the surgeon himself. You can talk to the HR personally later after the interview. But while talking to the surgeon, you can just give him a hint ki, hey, I'm interested to work under you, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to learn a lot of things. Make him feel comfortable, and what are your plans for me for the future? So they'll indirectly tell you what all work they are going to give you and how they are going to build you up and try to make you an independent surgeon in what amount of time. So this is like a polite way to just ask, rather than just going on asking ki kaam kitna milega. This sounds very rude, especially in corporate hospital. And you can't be like very arrogant with them. So you have to keep all these things in mind while you're interviewing. And basically, I think our interviews are not that hard. It's like a couple of questions, and then you have to just negotiate on the salary or some offer terms at the last.
That's lucky. Yeah, that I'm a bit jealous of you. So for us, it's like 5 to 6 rounds. Sometimes it's like 7 rounds, depending upon the company. But yeah, that's nice that you only have like 1 or 2 rounds and you're done.
Hey guys, I'll be uploading the second part of this video very soon, so stay tuned, and it is going to be a fun conversation with my brother. We'll be discussing about salary negotiations, and look forward for a second video. The part 2 of this video is going to come soon. Take care, bye.